Hello YouTube, today I'm going to be showing you how to perform a relaxing suit massage through tutorial. Please do enjoy. The first thing that we are going to do is just always apply just a bit of relaxing scent to the suit itself. So we have just a bit of melatonin and lavender essential oils. So we're just going to give a few spritzes here. Don't worry if you do have a few droplets here or there. It will dissipate. We're just going to go ahead and smooth all that out. You want to make sure that the suit is finely smoothed to the best of your ability, of course, and then make sure that you get everything in order. It's always nice to get the buttons here fastened and everything is in order for the massage, because once you begin your massage you want to make sure that you can continue without any interruptions if possible. We always like to line seam to seam just down the arm like so. Just a gentle smoothing out of the sleeves. We're just going to fix this side here. Smooth, and we just want to lay those sleeves naturally at the side. And then once where you clasp those buttons, we want to make sure that we smooth the areas underneath the lapels. We want to make sure those lapels are nicely even. We don't have any creases of the collar, and make sure that the dress shirt and tie is nicely straightened. And if they do have a tie clip or anything like that, make sure that it is neatly fastened as well. Make sure those buttons are laying straight. And now we are ready for the massage. We always start with the shoulders first and then work our way down. So we'll go ahead and move ourselves up here to the shoulders. Now that we are here at these shoulders, what we're going to do is we're always going to go thumb on the top portion and 4 fingers underneath. And we're just going to start with nice, gentle, about a medium firmness, circular motions, like so. You want to just slightly elevate those shoulders. That's really going to help relax that trapezius area of the suit. It's really going to melt into those muscles when this suit is applied back to the body. So just keep nice, consistent, and ensure that your pressure is consistent as well to those shoulders. We want to go all the way down to the border of the sleeves there at the shoulders and just stay between that area and the collar. We don't want to go underneath the collar yet. We will make our way there in just a moment, but we always start with, we're just going to go just deepen our pressure just a bit more now. We want to just always start with the uppermost portion of the shoulders and work our way down. These areas tend to carry the most stress for the wearer, so that's why we usually start here. Okay, now it's very important when we work our way under the collar, we want to take our index and middle finger and slide underneath the collar and just slightly raise and straighten those lapels like so. Thumb on top, last 2 fingers not necessary here, and then we're just working our way here. Only to the bottom seam of the collar, not to the lapels yet. Once again, we'll make our way there in a brief moment. Once again, just beginning with medium pressure, circular motions, and just to the border of that collar. We don't want to work our way too far backwards, or we might risk creasing the collar too much. And now I'm just going to increase pressure, just like we did before, on those shoulder areas. And make sure that you keep a consistency between your index and middle finger underneath your thumb. That way there's no slipping or anything like that that can become uncomfortable. Okay, and then we always make sure that we do smooth again, just in case there are any creases left from the pressure there. We then move to the lapel, similar motion, index and pointer underneath, and we're just going to slide once up to that collar to make sure that we are straight into there, and then we are going to repeat this time with the thumb to really move any creases and tension up out of those lapels once more. We want to stay away from a four-finger motion there, just because it allows, or I guess requires, too much surface area at the more narrow areas of the lapels. And now we're just going to start our medium pressure circular motions, keeping a firm grip between your thumb and your fingers underneath in order to work not only the creases out, but the tension with it. Always take note if there are a button slot there. We want to make sure that we don't snag a fingernail or anything like that that can cause damage to the suit. So just continuing your circular motions. Consistency is key. What we want to do is always make sure that when we are applying the massage pressure, that we're always working our way up the lapels to the wider areas and never downward. It can cause too much downward pressure, and it can actually pull the shoulders with it, which can then crease your suit and cause anything but relaxation. So when you get to the top of the lapels, you're going to slide just the two fingers back down and begin again with the circular motion, adding in the thumb. And then you are working those creases out. We're going to slide down, and this time just a bit more heavy-handed pressure. Always take note of where the backs of your hand are placed on the shirt or on the suit jacket. Rather, that way you aren't causing unnecessary creases or tension. And we're just going to slide and apply the thumbs into the more deliberate pressure. Those lapels are areas, and now we're just going to smooth back. Those lapels are a common area where a good amount of people carry the majority of their stress, mostly due to the button locations and the tension of the clasped area there in the center of the jacket. As you know, with all suit massages, the center of mass is oftentimes the central location of inflammation and tension. Alright, and just once again, making sure that you're creases are mitigated and everything. It's always a good idea to check that collar once more since we have had a bit of downward draw there. Now let's work on this front pocket. So once again, we're just going to slip this time, adding in that ring finger. And if you can, so this pocket is a bit wider, so you can have a 4-finger motion. It's always a good idea to take one hand and apply a bit of reassuring pressure on that arm as you begin that circular motion on that front pocket there. Once again, medium pressure at first. Notice how I'm attempting to really work that area closest to the seam. That's usually where the majority of your focus should be. And I'm trying to minimize the movement of my hand in general and focus just on that thumb joint. That way we get really deliberate motions there. And now we're just going to, this time, bidirectional, static motions. It's always a good idea to pull with your fingers in the opposite direction. So as I slide my thumb this way, I'm actually pulling in the opposite direction with my index finger to maintain a taut pull on that suit, and vice versa with the pinky finger. And now just some rapid circular motions, this time just with the tip of the thumb there. Almost like a bit of scratching. And that should do it always. Once again, make sure that the general area that was massaged is nice and pressed, and then the adjacent areas are once again well looked after. So in this situation, lapels can sometimes be disrupted. But in this situation, I think we are ready now to move into a bit of the tie. Now, when you do go into the tie massage, it's very important that you don't pull the tie out of the suit jacket. We want to ever so gently pull just the top portion of the tie. We refer to this area as the root of the tie because it is the stiffest area of the tie and the area where the most tension is housed. And for this, we're going to go a double thumb action, just slightly pulling away from the central area, the spine of the tie, to the outside. Never going past the tie clip, if there is one. If there isn't one, the rule of thumb is just to the convergence of the lapels. Never further than that, at risk of disrupting the entire wardrobe. We're just working up to the knot and back down. Alright, and when we are done with the tie, we want to pull just ever so slightly to make sure that we have a nice taut tension now on that tie. It's nice and flat, and then once again pressing the adjacent areas. Alright, and then now for this particular suit jacket, it is a double waist pocket jacket. So what we're going to do, these types of jackets usually have a double seam on either side, and we want to really work those seams if possible. What we're going to do for this situation is we're just going to have a nice but firm concussion method here. What we want to do is we want to strike with just the outside of your pinky, and then as that motion contacts the suit jacket, you want to twist your wrist ever so slightly to where your ring and middle finger come to rest, with your middle finger coming to rest lastly on the jacket. Never a flat chop or a poke. Both would be less than favorable. And we should begin. We want to alternate strikes, and we want to always begin with the inside seam on each side. And just a nice and consistently moderate pressure right up and down those seams. Once again, notice the motion in the wrist. That's really how you perfect this technique. And now we want to change up the cadence. Notice though, still alternating, and still a gentle, ever so slight pull right at the end of the contact. And now we want to smooth back to the pockets. And begin on the exterior seam. Same as before, we want a consistently moderate pressure. And once again, alternating. These areas usually don't have as much tension, and now alternating, as the shoulders, but overlooked, and they can become quite a nuisance if given enough time to manifest themselves. So a thorough suit massage is always necessary to avoid such nuisances. And now we are going to smooth back down to the pockets. And now this part is extremely important. It's always a good job, or a good idea rather, to smooth the lapels. And now we are going to put one hand on the shoulder, the other hand on the hem of that suit jacket, and gently tug to create that taut appearance. And now smooth the pocket, and same on the other side, hand on the shoulder, gentle tug on the hem, press the pockets, and make sure everything is in order. Once again, diligence and dedication to those lapels not being creased. And now we are going to work on that deltoid area of the shoulders. So make sure that both arms are still gently at rest at the side of the suit body. And what we are going to do now is we are just going to grip the sleeve, 4 fingers, thumb on the outside, and once again, hand on the shoulder. And we're just going to do a few brief but semi-moderate pulls on that shoulder seam. Those shoulders, oftentimes with excessive movement, can really see a lot of inflammation and wear and tear. So it's important to get just a bit of mobility and circulation back to those areas. Alright, and now with your grip still firmly on that sleeve, we're just going to work that inflammation from the shoulder out the sleeve, always away from the trunk of the suit body. Just gentle and consistent. And now, once again, seam aligned, reducing as much of the creases in this position as possible. And we are then going to 4 fingers, both hands on top and both thumbs on bottom. We're just going to gently massage the length of the arm. Always making sure, and this is important, that there's never a moment where one of your hands is not gripped onto the sleeve. So as you lift a hand to reposition it, always make sure that the other hand is gripped and firmly attached to that sleeve, and then vice versa. This just creates a sense of assurance and comfort in the recipient. And we're just working our way along the full length of that sleeve. And once again, hand on the shoulder, a brief pull, seams aligned, and creases managed. And now, the same here, just a few, go back to this side, a few pulls on that sleeve just to ensure that that mobility and circulation is maintained. Alright, and now just a nice smoothing motion. Once again, this just helps move that build up from the shoulder out to the end of the sleeve. And always before you begin the massage motions, make sure that your sleeve is evenly placed along the side of that natural position of the body. And then we just align the seams, ensure no creases persist. And now to the buttons. For this portion, we just want to briefly loose the buttons there. And we're just going to apply just a bit of work. You can, if we do have a 2-button jacket here, you can put all 4 fingers on each hand under each of the button with your middle finger lined up with the actual button slot there, and we're just going to provide some nice massage to those button inserts there. Like I said, a lot of tension and unnecessary pulling and wear and tear on these areas due to the nature of the buttons and their role in the overall suit ecosystem. It can cause a lot of discomfort over time, so it's always important to end with this section after treating the rest of the suit jacket. And that should do it. And always, always must not forget to re-button the jacket. Care to be gentle and not re-establish any tension. Once again, smooth your pockets, your creases, and then diligently address the lapels. adjust and address the legs here. When it comes to the legs, once again, we're just going to place a hand on the hip there and a gentle tug to make sure that we do have a nice uncreased as much as possible pant leg, and then just a few smoothing motions to optimize relaxation and prepare the suit. And now once again, the chop motion. We start on one leg at a time. Keep in mind a medium amount of pressure and a 75% speed. And smooth. Once again here. Alternating percussions, of course. Always, once again, important to never allow your index finger to be the last impact or an impact at all during this type of massage technique. And smooth. And just a few final checks. Make sure that the bottom hem is nice and adjusted. And thank you, YouTube. This has been a relaxing suit massage tutorial. If you want to see more tutorials like this, please like and subscribe. And thank you for watching.